Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari.
Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari.
Yasodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana. Yamuna Tera Vanachari. Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari.
Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari.
Yasodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana. Yasodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana. Yamuna Tera Vanachari. Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jai Vishnupada Paramahansa Parivrajacharya Srivastava Srimadhvan Vrishabhaya Charanarvinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam ki Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki Jai. Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki Jai. Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki Jai. Om Namah Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namah Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Srimad Bhagavatam, Chapter 5, Narada's Instructions on Srimad Bhagavatam for Vyasadeva, Text 1. Sutta Vacha Atham Tam Sukham Asina Upasinam Bruhatshrava Devarsihi Praha Viprarsim Vinapanihi Smayanniva. Sutta Vacha Athatam Sukhamasina Upasinam Bruhatshrava Devarsihi Praha Viparsim Vinapanihi Smayanniva. Sutta Uvacha said Atha therefore Tam him Sukhamasina comfortably seated Upasinam unto one sitting nearby Bruhatshrava greatly respected Devarsihi the great Rishi among the gods Praha said Viprarsim unto the Rishi among the Brahmanas Vinapanihi one who carries a Vina in his hand
ferries of Vina in his hand.
Smayaniva, apparently smiling.
Apparently smiling.
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Sutta Goswami said, thus the sage amongst the gods, Narada, comfortably seated and apparently smiling, addressed the Rishi among the Brahmanas, Vedavyasa. Narada was smiling because he well knew the great sage Vedavyasa and the cause of his disappointment. As he will explain gradually, Vyasadeva's disappointment was due to the insufficiency in presenting the signs of devotional service. Narada knew the defect, and it was confirmed by the position of Vyasa. Jaya Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Name Namaste Saraswati Devi Gaurvani Pitarine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Pashyat Desatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. You see, when a teacher, spiritual teacher, comes to your place, it must be the time of greatest happiness for every individual. Because when spiritual master comes to your place, that means Krishna is giving you some instruction. We do not know what is Krishna's plan. We do not know how we can please Krishna. But when spiritual master comes to your place, one must be very, very happy because you have some special instruction you will receive. And this particular appearance of Srila Narada in the ashram of Vyasadeva in Samyaprasa was one of the very, very astounding event. In fact, chapter 5, first canto, chapter 5, I would suggest that from canto 1 to canto 9, before canto 10 starts, which is about Krishna completely, chapter 5 is the foundation. So that's how important is this. Yesterday, in the morning today itself, when I was chanting, two very, very important or pertinent points that got revealed to me. One is that no spiritual event can be predicted. That is why Srila Prabhupada refrained people going to astrologer. If we are interested in spiritual life, what is the use of astrology? Astrology is about the planetary motions, planetary positions, and their effect on the flow of events within this material world. So are you interested in the events of this material world? We are not interested. We are interested in the events that are of spiritual world. We will see, I think, 5th or 6th verse of this chapter, where when Vyasadeva would address Narada, he would say that your knowledge is unlimited. Why the knowledge of Narada is unlimited? Because he has a spiritual body. Being situated in spiritual plane always, so the information from trillions of Vaikuntha planets are coming into him. So he is jolly, happy, always. Whereas we are bombarded with this material knowledge, and we cannot even get information completely from this world. If we would have got even the complete information of this world also, you will go mad. And what to speak of thousands of material world, if you get the knowledge, information, you will go completely mad. So that is the limitation of this material world. So no event spiritually can be predicted. Who could have predicted Srila Prabhupada's journey to America in 1966 in a Jaladuta steamer? That event will remain the most special event in this age of Kali until the end, until Kalki would come and devour everybody. You can't predict such thing. For example, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said, I'm ready to sell all the bricks, all the worlds, all the temples, if that will make one pure devotee of Krishna. So events that are spiritual cannot be predicted because they are not of this world. Whether astrology, astronomy, it doesn't matter. They're about this world, mundane world. And that is why Narada is going to chastise Vyasadeva. So this is one point I was meditating on this. The second point was that as a preacher, as we preach Krishna consciousness, we should make conscious effort not to have any connection with this material world. Because that is very, very painful to again get connected to the material world. Like Prabhupada yesterday, we saw that how Prabhupada is strictly forbidding us to do anything except connecting everybody to Krishna. Now here, that we can meditate that in this world there is no friend, no enemy. Yes, for a transcendentalist there are no friend, no enemy. No friend, no enemy. Because our friend is there in Goloka Vrindavan. Our friend is there within our heart, which we cannot even see or realize. So, those who live, let me tell that little later. So, neither no friend, no enemy. And second, we have no shelter in this world. You cannot seek shelter of anyone. You can't take shelter of India or America or UK or moon planet or Abrahma Bhuvanaloka, Punaravartina Archana. The only shelter is Krishna's lotus feet. Back to Godhead. So we have no shelter here. We have no friend, no enemy here. So how are we going to conduct ourselves? Now those who live by this principle, they become our association. All those who live by this principle, like once one Prabhupada disciple, they were walking in the sea beach in Melbourne or somewhere, and there are everybody is walking, and then they saw sun is biting this dust and it is dazzling, and there is a quite serenity in the atmosphere, looked very beautiful. And then one devotee made a comment, what a awesome experience. And Prabhupada disciple, I don't know what is his name, I forgot, long back it was discussed, and he said, my dear Prabhu, neither you will have permanently to enjoy this awesome beauty, nor this awesome beauty will be always there for you. So that is the nature of this material world. So Vedas, whether it is astronomy, you saw that Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, who was one of the greatest scholar of astronomy, Vedic astronomy, but he gave up. So what is the use? These are all about matter. It doesn't take us beyond the material world. And this is the philosophy of our spiritual masters. Let's not talk about of this world. Everybody is talking. Why we should talk? We should transcend ourselves as much as possible and ensure that we enter into the realm of divinity completely, forever. Addressing Vyasadeva, the son of Parashara, Narada inquired, "Are you satisfied by identifying with the body or mind as object of self-realization?" So immediately a sarcastic comment Narada is giving to Vyasadeva. Vyasadeva is an extraordinary personality. You know who is a Vyasadeva? King, his father Parashara, whose Trikalagya, he realized this is the time, this is the exact time a great sage is supposed to be born. And the information is getting revealed to him that he is the father of that person. Then he's thinking, well, how can I father a child without union of a girl? And then he realized the boatman is a girl, is the daughter of a fisherman, Basu. Matsya Gandha is her name, later who became celebrated Satyavati, famous mother of Bhishmadev, not the mother, biological mother, but much more than mother. And then we know that how Vyasadeva came. So he's not an ordinary personality, Vyasadeva. You won't find somebody's born like this. This is an extraordinary way taking birth in extraordinary situation. We are all ordinary fellows. Our father and mother got married, and then we are biological children of our parents. That's it. We are very ordinary. Vyasadeva is not ordinary, he is extraordinary. Just like Brahmaji. He was not born like any one of us. He was born in a very, very unique situation. Who knows that a lotus would sprout from the navel of Vishnu, and from that lotus, Brahmaji will appear. This is something. And there is nobody to take care of him. When you are born, you need a mother to breastfeed you. You need support, social support system. And Brahmaji was born where there is darkness all around. How can he survive? Will he survive? If we think about it, people stupidly say these literatures are mythology, but you see that how profound things are there. But those who have perfected their life by practice of Krishna consciousness, they would rejoice these things. Others cannot rejoice. So Vyasadeva is an extraordinary personality, and Narada is saying, are you satisfied by describing the extended body as the object of self-realization? Wow. That's big, very big. That is what is teacher. People don't understand what is a teacher. People always want the teacher who can pamper you all the time, 24 hours, speak nicely. So, this was a hint by Narada to Vyasadeva regarding the cause of his despondency. Vyasadeva, as the descendant of Parasara, a greatly powerful sage, had the privilege of having a great parentage which should not have given Vyasadeva cause for despondency. Being a great son of a great father, he should not have identified the self, the body, or the mind. Ordinary man with a poor fund of knowledge can identify the body as self or the mind as self, but Vyasadeva should not have done so. One cannot be cheerful by nature unless one is factually seated in self-realization, which is transcendental to the material body and mind. This is you build big bungalows, big factory, you generate a lot of wealth. You marry, you procreate. Nothing of these worldly activities can make you feel complete and happy. Not possible. That is the essence of this particular verse. Your inquiries were full and your studies were also well fulfilled. There is no doubt that you have prepared a great, wonderful work, the Mahabharata, which is full of all kinds of Vedic sequences elaborately explained. The despondency of Vyasadeva was certainly not due to his lack of sufficient knowledge, because as a student he had fully inquired about the Vedic literature, as a result of which the Mahabharata is compiled with full explanation of the Vedas. Vyasadeva was burned to do certain tasks. He was in a mission mode. And he did great job. Rig, Sam, Yajur, Atharva, Itihasa, Purana, Brahma Sutra. No ordinary person can compile so many literature. That is why we also refer Vrindavan Das Thakur, Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami, Lochan Das Thakur as Vyasadeva, because they compiled about the transcendental or divine qualities of Lord Chaitanya. Mode of goodness is something that if we have not associated, most of the topic, most of the essence of Srimad Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita will never penetrate into our conscience. Vyasadeva, his effort was lauded by Naraji, saying that you are greatly empowered personalities because you have been able to compile so many literature. So you are not less than intelligent, or you are not unqualified. So then, what is the cause of your despondency? Okay, 9:12. So you have fully delineated the subject of impersonal Brahman as well as knowledge derived therefrom. This is big prahar. Brahman. Very partial aspect of the absolute truth. You only spoke about the knowledge concerning Brahman. Why should you be despondent in spite of all this, thinking that you are undone, my dear Prabhu? My dear Prabhu, you have given, Brahma Sutra. People, they give so many explanation. When I was in Juhu temple, I went to the Ramakrishna mission to get a copy of Brahma Sutra. And I don't know what happened to that copy of Brahma Sutra. I'm supposed to have, I don't have that. So when I entered into the ashram of Ramakrishna, personally speaking, I felt very happy because there was certainly more of goodness, and they had many, many books, and they were on display, and so many people writing books. So this is all about Veda. Veda is about Brahman and the description of Brahman. I had brought that book, and I don't know what happened actually. Anybody knows Brahma Sutra? In here? Somebody can check out. So this book I got from Ramakrishna Mission, but I have never gone through that. See, Krishna would not allow you certain things to study unless until that has any. We are under protection of Krishna, for sure. So wow, Krishna. Can you see that? Can you go to the purport? I'm just amazed here. You see, the Vedanta Sutra or Brahma Sutra compiled by Srila Vyasadeva is the full deliberation of the impersonal absolute feature, and it is accepted as the most exalted philosophical exposition in the world. It covers the subject of eternity, and the methods are scholarly. So there cannot be any doubt about transcendental scholarship Vyasadeva. So why should he lament? So could you understand why I said, oh my God? Because I have not looked at purport at all. I'm just reading the translation and I'm talking about it. And the purport is just about Brahma Sutra. So these are the inspirations, because when we go through this, then we realize that, okay, we are able to follow the mood of our acharyas. There's a sense of blessings or sense of grace that we receive, and that sustains us. There is no doubt about it. So, dear devotees, what I would do now, I will take 2 minutes break as usual. You can play a song, Yashamati Nandan. But what I would like is that until now, whatever we discussed, we can ask questions about it. But I'm going to read 2-3 more verses. That is Narada spoke like this. Then Vyasadeva would answer or would ask some question. So this part will cover. Then we will see how Narada is going to bombard one after another. And we need a teacher like that who can bombard us and can make us free from material consciousness. We need to be liberated. Otherwise, we cannot be happy here. We want to be engaged as Krishna's servant. If you are not servant of Krishna, our life is finished. And only a pure devotee can engage us in the service to Krishna. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. So I'll be here after 2 minutes, but please hear the kirtan, Prabhupada kirtan. Questions are there?
No, not yet.
Not yet? I'll be surprised. I think we have.
Question
Ah. Okay, then we will go and read. Nikita. Nikita nowadays is asking many questions. Usually we hear lecture and read scripture, chant 16 rounds. Suddenly we get excited and take very serious views in front of Krishna, vows in front of Krishna, Guru, but after some time we can't follow it. That process is going on. Is that serious offense? No, it is not an offense. No, it is an offense, but it is not serious. We have to continue. Just like when a child starts walking, you have to help him a lot before he can walk. I remember my sister, eldest sister, she could not walk. And then they dug 2 hole pit and put her leg and then buried, almost up to above knee. And he was standing like that. So that kind of so we need support to be able to. You are right, but the point is that you are when you are able to hear, you are able to feel so happy in Krishna consciousness. You want to give your life to Krishna. So this is so nice, so nice. But what I would like is why we are not able to keep up our vows, because we are still filled with a mode of ignorance and mode of passion. And it's passion and ignorance that cannot help us uh, to hold on to our vows. Okay, nice question. So let us read, and I hope that we'll have some more interesting questions. So Vyasovata. Srila Vyasadeva said, all you have said about me is perfectly correct. Despite all this, I am not pacified. I therefore question you about the root cause of my dissatisfaction. For you are a man of unlimited knowledge, you see, due to your being the offspring of one who is self-born, Brahma, without mundane father and mother. Brahmaji's father is Krishna directly. Krishna is the direct father of Brahma. In the material world, everyone is engrossed with the idea of identifying the body or the mind with the self. As such, all knowledge disseminated in the material world is related either with the body or with the mind. And that is the root cause of all despondency. This is not always detected, even though one may be greatest erudite scholar in materialistic knowledge. It is good, therefore, to approach a personality like Narada to solve the root cause of all despondencies. Why Narada should be approached is explained below. So, if we cannot ask question to a teacher, that means we are deaf. We are not hearing. Only deaf people cannot ask question. If you are hearing, you will always ask question. And Vyasadeva, even perfected being, they ask question. Vyasadeva is a perfected being. He is incarnation of Krishna. He is asking question. Why I am feeling incomplete? Why I am so despondent? Why I am not pacified? And he is seeking the support of Narada. This noise is very, very annoying. See, morning time when we are sitting here, we are seeing our garden, the sun is beating, coming inside. The ambient is just like Vrindavan. The birds are chirping. We have Radha Kund and Mansi Ganga within our Vrindavan garden here. So this mode of goodness is intoxicating. That is why the sages, they always created Upavanam. And Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur in Chaitanya Gaudiya Math in Mayapur, in his ashram, he established Radha Kund, he established Giriraj, and there is forest. Mood. We know when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came via Jharkhand, and whenever he saw a hill, he thought that to be Govardhan. When he saw a river, thought that to be Jamuna. And Jharkhand anyway was full of forest, Vrindavan. It's very nice. We have started a center in Ranchi now. We have taken a nice place. So I'll be there in a couple of days also. So we have center in Dehradun, center in Ranchi, 2 state capitals. A lot of seva. lot of seva. Uh, so, my Lord, everything that is mysterious is known to you because you worship the creator and destroyer of the material world and the maintainer of the spiritual world, the original personality, Godhead, who is transcendental to the three modes of material nature. A person who is sent person engaged in the service of Krishna is the emblem of all knowledge. Such a devotee of the Lord in full perfection of devotional service is also perfect by the qualification of personality of Godhead. As such, the eightfold perfection of mystic power constitute very little of his godly opulence. A devotee like Narada can act wonderfully by his spiritual perfection, which every individual is trying to attain. Srila Narada is a sent person, perfect living being, although not equal to Krishna. Very nice, very nice. Prabhupada's purpose sometime is very revealing. He's saying persons like Durvasa, mystic personality, mystic perfection. Durvasa can go from one planet to another planet in the self-same body. Can anybody do that? Eh? But same Durvasa was humbled by Ambarisha Maharaja. Eh? So powerful Durvasa. And when you have so much of opulence, right? You can go anywhere and anytime. You can go to Shiva's planet. You can go to Shetadipa. You can go to anywhere, my dear friend. Eh? And it is not that you have to pay some money or you have to book a ticket. No. Even such people have been humbled by a pure devotee of Krishna. So this is very, very important for us to recognize. Prabhupada saying, as such, the eightfold perfection of mystic power constitute very little of his godly opulence. A devotee like Narada can act wonderfully by his spiritual perfection. Every individual is trying to attain. So Narada is a sent person, perfect living being. So this is a very great essence of why we should continuously hear Srimad Bhagavatam. I would narrate one. I will read one more verse, and then we are going to stop today. And that is the last verse of today, is 7th verse. Like the sun, your goodness can travel everywhere. You see, and the three worlds. And like the air, you can penetrate the internal region of the everyone. As such, you are as good as the all-pervasive super soul. Please therefore find out the deficiency in me, despite my being absorbed in transcendence under disciplinary regulation and vows. Transcendental realization, pious activities, worshipping the deity, charity, mercifulness, non-violence, studying the scriptures under strict disciplinary regulations are always helpful. Dear devotees, we must feel so wonderful about this discussion between Narada and Vyasa. Vyasadeva greeted Narada. Narada praised Vyasadeva. Vyasadeva is going to ask some questions. Why I am despondent? And is glorifying his spiritual master. You have unlimited knowledge. You worship Krishna always. And you are like super soul. You can travel anywhere. Right? And you penetrate So see, traveling anywhere is a great mystical opulence. That Durvasa had, but he didn't have a devotion. Of course, now he has devotion. But Naraji is able to do that because he has devotion. Once you have devotion, whatever is necessary for your devotion, everything will be given to you. Patapat. Eh? And so devotees of Krishna, they are akinchana. They don't need anything else. They don't need anything else. So we should stop here. I will, because this is a discussion between spiritual master and disciple. I'll tell you how Srila Prabhupada was quoting one example of Ramanujacharya in one of his talk and lecture. And I'm going to, it's a very small one. Once Ramanujacharya had gone for preaching trip. After preaching, he was going via a village. While he was returning, he realized that one of his disciples lives in this village. So he went to that village and knocked at the door. And then he saw that some ankle bell ring, sound is coming, but nobody is opening. So he realized his disciple is not there, his wife is there, and he realized that his disciple is very poor, and probably his wife is not properly dressed, and hence he doesn't want to come back. So Bahir Vastra Ramanujacharya had, he threw inside, and the wife of the disciple came with properly dressed, offered obeisances, gave her spiritual master a nice place to sit after giving him water to wash his lotus feet, and said, "My husband is not here, but please be here and I'm going to feed you some prasad." And then the wife realized her spiritual master is there, her husband is not there, in her house there is nothing to feed, and immediately he made a list. If she has to prepare something, she made the items she needs, went to the nearby grocery store. And this particular Vaishnavi was very beautiful, very well behaved, spiritually very attractive. But that idiot grocery fellow was a lusty idiot. And he said, "I know your husband is very poor. If I give these items, you cannot pay back this." And the wife of the Vaishnavi appealed, "My Guru Maharaj is here. Please help me. My husband will surely." Then that fellow took that up. "No, your husband cannot. If you agree to spend one night with me, then I am going to give." And out of desperation, Vaishnavi agreed, got all the ingredient, cooked very fast, offered bhoga to Vishnu, and gave everything, made nice plate and fed his Guru Maharaj. And of course, when the spiritual master comes, he must have given talked about Krishna Katha, whatever little opportunity he had to, and by blessing his disciple, Ramanujacharya left, and her husband was still not there. After Ramanujacharya left, her husband reached. And the wife told what happened. The husband was very, very happy, but he said, "How did you manage these things? We had nothing." He said, "I got from the grocery fellow." "How did he give you?" Then the wife said, "This is the condition." Crying profusely, she admitted. And then Ramanujacharya said, her husband said, because you have given word we are Vaishnavas, we cannot tell lie. So I'll take you. And when the husband takes the wife and tells, okay, you have given all the ingredients, we have pleased our spiritual master. So you have every right to satisfy your desire. And here is my wife. When he said like that, the grocery fellow felt ashamed within. Tears rolled down his cheeks and said, I have done a horrible mistake. Please forgive me. And he also became a Vaishnava. So, a Vaishnava can make anybody into a Vaishnava by the grace of spiritual master. But we have to be free from ignorance and passion. That's it. Hare Krishna. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Sri Sri Lakshmi Narsingh Bhagwan ki jai. Srila Giriraj Krishna ki jai. Sri Sri Radha Ramanju ki jai. Gaur Pramanande Hari. Wow, so many questions. Ansul Agarwal. Sir, Brahma Sutra talks about impersonal aspect of Lord. No, it doesn't talk about impersonal aspect of Lord, but the way it is interpreted normally. But Brahma Sutra has been interpreted by Vyasadeva himself in the form of Srimad Bhagavatam. In fact, Srimad Bhagavatam is the natural commentary on Brahma Sutra, and this is what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told us. That is why Gaudiya Vaishnavas never wrote a commentary on Brahma Sutra until they were challenged in the kingdom, in the palace of Jaipur, that these Gaudiyas are not real Vaishnavas because they have no commentary on Brahma Sutra. Okay, Ansul Agrawal, then Chiranjit Roy. Sir, what happens when Brahma dies? When Brahma dies, the universe enters into not only one universe, all the universes, they enter into the, that is the time when Mahavishnu inhales. So all the Brahmandas, they start unmanifesting. The entire energy enters into the body of Mahavishnu. And all the jivas, they take shelter of the body of Mahavishnu. Next. Jai Gudla. How is he today? Prabhupada says that friends or enemies are equally entitled to hear Bhagavad Gita. But we hear that Arjuna is a devotee and friend of Lord. So, Lord told Bhagavad Gita to him how to understand both the statements. Friends and enemies, you have to give me. I may have a friend, I may have an enemy, and all of them, they can hear Bhagavad Gita. It is not that Bhagavad Gita is only meant for my friends only. Why Bhagavad Gita? My enemies cannot hear. My enemies are not Krishna's enemies. And my friends are not Krishna's friends anyway. So whoever is my friend and my enemy, it doesn't matter who's my friend, who's my... Everybody must be given Bhagavad Gita. I don't know the exact context, so I forgot name of Ambarisha Maharaj's father that you told yesterday. What is Na Bhaga? Na Bhaga. Bhaga means share. Na Bhaga means who didn't get any share of his father's property. His father is No Bhaga and he didn't get any Bhaga or share of his father's property. And that is why his name is Na Bhaga. Great. Great. Who is speaking? Avai Chaitanya. Bolo.
Sir, in 10.14.26, the purpose, the Prabhupada disciples mention that both bondage, the material bondage and moksha, both are illusion, both are born of ignorance. But sir, we are it seems like we are really bound by the three modes of mental nature, and we hear a lot about this bondage of three modes of mental nature. So how the bondage is an illusion and moksha is also illusion?
Because soul by nature cannot be bound. And soul, what is this so-called liberation? It is like fish. Prabhupada always gave this example of fish. Fish must stay naturally within the water. That is its place. So soul naturally must serve Krishna and take shelter of Krishna's lotus feet. So this is what we have to understand. So our understanding of bondage and liberation, that is illusion. Yes, we are bound by Krishna's love. We are bound by Krishna. We can never be unbound. And liberation is a nonsense. What is that liberation? What freedom? No freedom. We are so tiny. Only when we are connected to Krishna, we have value. We have no connection to Krishna, you have no value. If I don't push anyone who will not practice even a little bit of Krishna consciousness. That is our strength. By pushing people, we make them to do little bit of Krishna consciousness, and hoping that one day they will attain their natural state. So bondage and liberation, they are naturally antithetical to the position of soul. Soul is part and parcel of Krishna. That's it. I have to go to, just like fish must be brought back to the water. So that's why back to Godhead. Back to Godhead is reality. Whereas so-called bondage and freedom or liberation, they are nuisance. Okay, so I think it is already 9:45. We never went so long in our discussion. I normally want to make this discussion as short as possible, but today we actually covered 7 verses. That's amazing. So thank you very much, dear devotees. I hope you are all enjoying this discussion, and I pray to Krishna that you are all blessed to appreciate Bhagavatam and to go to the domain or the ambience of Srimad Bhagavatam. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki Gaur Pramanande Hari Hari Bo.